Whoever's absent is supposed to watch them, right? Yeah. It's just, I feel like it's my due diligence. I have to make sure that we make videos. Okay. So when we talk about analyzing data, so on Monday we talked about graphical representations, and the whole concept of statistics is just that you're able to look at data presented in different ways and you're able to analyze it. Okay. So we analyze data using the shape. Do I need to move you to? YouTube, the googly eyes, whoever you're laughing at constantly, the center, the spread, and then we use outliers. So we're going to talk about how to describe those. Okay. So when we talk about describing the shape, these are a couple of words that were in your vocabulary scavenger, crossword puzzle, or whatever. So when we describe the shape, we can say that something is left skewed. Do you notice that if something is left skewed, what happens? What's happening over here? What makes it skew to the left? What's probably living over here? What do you think? One little point called a what? It doesn't fit with the rest of the data at all. An outlier. Yeah. So if something is skewed left, that just means it has an outlier on the left. Okay. If something is skewed right, it means that it has an outlier on the right. Okay. We also have data that could be shaped symmetrical. God bless you. This almost looks like a parabola when I think about this, right? If I don't draw the little bells off to the side. Do you guys see how this, like if I were to divide this in half neatly right down the middle, it's symmetrical, meaning I could fold one side over to the other and it would lay perfectly. So this is a symmetrical, God bless you, symmetrical in its mound shape or bell shaped. And then the one on the right has a rectangular shape and it's uniform because they all have about the same height. Do you guys see that? They're all at about the same height. Not, they don't have to be 100% right there, but they're all pretty close to being right at the same height. And it still makes that rectangular kind of boxy shape. So those are some of the ways that we describe the shape. There's one more that I didn't add that I kind of drew down here. You might have data that has two bumps in it, and that's called bimodal. Bimodal. Yeah, two humps in it. Why is it called bimodal? And modal means what? What does mode mean? So it has two numbers that represent the most, right? Remember, if you have the most data, it's the highest when you think about like our dot plot. So it's just saying that it has two values that have the same amount. They're higher than everything else. Bimodal. You guys are on it today. We also have measures of center. We did this on our little blue circle, right? We know that if we want to calculate the mean, we add up all the data and we divide by the number in the set. The median is the middle value when we put them in ascending order. And then the mode is the one that appears the most. Got it? Okay, flip it open to the inside. We're going to talk about measures of spread. So the range tells us how far apart our data is because we take the largest from the smallest. So it tells us that all of our data points fall in this range. The 5-number summary, which we used today, right, using our calculator. The interquartile range also describes our spread. And then our standard deviation describes our spread. And then the last thing that we're going to talk about as a descriptor analyzing data is an outlier. And we use this rule to identify outliers. So the rule is if the outlier is above, if you have an outlier, it's got to be above whatever Q3 is plus 1.5 times your IQR. Those are outliers on the top side. Outliers on the bottom side are outliers that are below 1.5, sorry, your Q1 minus 1.5 times your IQR. So here's what we're going to do today. The first thing that we're going to do is create a dot plot. So we're going to make a dot plot, and then we are going to we're just going to jump right to our calculator, and we're going to calculate all of those values. We're going to calculate the 5-number summary, the range, the mean, all that stuff. And we're going to determine, like, make some educated choices about what our shape might be, and we'll make a box plot. Okay. So we're going to do our dot plot, and I don't want to rattle these off to you, but I do want to talk to you about how to label your dot plot. Your x-axis is already labeled, but when you make your dots, you have to make sure that you know that these are representing ones. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, or you could just number every 5th one. I don't care how you do it, but you have to make sure you put some numbers up there. You at least know how you're counting off to the side, okay? So when I do my dot plot, when you are doing a dot plot on grid paper, the first point, 21, well, this is 21, so I'm going to put it right there in the center, like where the 2 grid lines meet. Okay. 20, I'm going to put my dot right here where the 2 grid lines meet. 16, 18. Do you guys see what you're doing? Are you understanding that? Who has a question? Do you guys feel like you can put your dots on there without me calling them out? And 1, because there's 1 point. 16, so 16, and there's 1 of them. Okay, does that make sense?
Do you have any whiteout?
I do. Okay, I think I left off with 19. I'm going to go back to 20 again. So now I'm doing 20 and 2, 19 and 2. 20 is now the 3rd time I'm putting a 20 up there. 24, 23, 22, 21, 21, 21, 20. And then I think I go all the way out to 48. You're welcome, honey. That should be all 16 of my points. Does yours look like that? Did I miss something? Are we good? So based off of this, do you think you guys have any outliers? Which one? 48? Let's circle that because I agree. I think that 48 is probably an outlier. Okay. Does everyone have their dot plots done? Yes or no? Raise your hand if you need more time. So we're going to go over to the right side. I'm going to keep that frozen for a second, but you guys that are done, get your calculator and you're going to go to your stat, edit, and you're going to input all that data. Stat, edit, and you're putting in all of those points. How many of them do you have? 16 of them. Good job, you guys. 16 points. So remember how to check. Go back to your arrow back up to the very last data point you in, and it should make sure that you have 16. You guys see that? So once you get your points put in there, let's go to the calculate part and let's see if we can talk about some numbers. Let's talk about some values, okay? All right, Peyton, what did you get for the mean? What you need help? Okay. Did you input your data? So stats, edit, you're going to input your list. So you're going to input all these numbers. 21, yep, 20, 16, 18, 19, 20, 19, 20,
So then you're
24, 23, 21, 21, 21, 20, and 48. Oh, why is it not hitting? Dang it. It's hitting plus, not enter.
Yeah. Number one. I don't count. Right there. You're right where you want. So hit enter. And then go down.
Yes, so hit stat again. Arrow over to calc. And answer choice number 1. There you go. Arrow down to where it says calculator. And enter. So I want the mean. What's that number? It's that X with the bar over it. So how about 22.0625? Did everybody get that? Yeah. Okay. What about for your median? Owen, what did you get for the median? It says median. Oh, mean is the one with the X and the bar over it. So median, you arrow down. 21. Is that what we got? Sorry. Is that what you guys got for median? I think that your numbers are off a little bit. What'd you guys get for median? Yeah, I also got 20.5. We'll have to look at that. Your data table is wrong. So 20.5. What about the mode? What number was put in there the most? 21. Well, it's the same data set that we did before. Look at your dot plot. They're even, no mode. Okay. What's the minimum? 16. We already said that the median was 20.5. What's our Q1? Okay, 19.5. What is your Q3? 21.5. Maximum. And IQR. What is it? Negative. How do you find your IQR? Q3 minus Q1. So 21 point, I wrote it the other way? Oh, okay. 21.5 minus 19.5. You put it in your calculator reversed. So it's positive 2. Does everybody see that? That's not something that our calculator gives us, right? That's something that we have to calculate on our own. What about a range? I forgot what range was. Say again. I heard someone say something. Oh, you forgot? Well, you have a journal. I don't. Well, what is it? All right. The largest minus the smallest. I know the largest is 48. What's my smallest number? What is 48 minus 16? 32. Standard deviation. Did you guys get your standard deviation number? 37 point what? Oh, so yeah, because I'm going to say that's huge. 7.62. Is that what you said? 1.6. Sorry, I gotcha. Okay, 169. All right. We have to figure about outliers, and we have to use that rule that's listed on the left-hand side of our paper. So let's see if we have outliers on the top. So we're looking for anything that is above my Q3 plus 1.5 times my IQR. All right. So, what is my Q3? It's 21.5, right? Plus 1.5 times my IQR is 2. So what is my IQR is 2. So what does that equal mathematically? Say it loudly. 24.5. So do we have any numbers that are bigger than that? 48. So we know that 48 is an outlier. Let's check the below. You guys guessed that already, right? It looked like it was an outlier. Let's check the below. So below Q1 minus 1.5 times your IQR. So what is my Q1? What's my Q1? 19.5 minus 1.5 times my IQR, which is 2. So what is that? Say it again. 16.5. So any number that's less than that is an outlier. 16 is also an outlier. You got both of them without doing the math? I didn't feel like 16 looks like an outlier. Yeah. That was good thinking. So those are your outliers. Questions?